What is CMAR in construction? A construction manager at risk. This is the topic that we're talking about right now, and I love this topic because I've worked on IPD projects, IPD Light, where they did use the CM at risk delivery method. I've been on design build projects, and unfortunately I've been on design bid build, which I absolutely loathe. And I want to talk to you about this amazing contract delivery method. And so I'm going to give you the ins and outs of it and a high level description that will really accelerate your understanding of CM at risk and what you can do with it. And then if you want to dig in, you can go do your own research, and it's absolutely amazing. So if you're into that, stay with us. Okay, so check this out. CM at risk. There's another video which we'll link you to about basically the details of being a construction manager or a general contractor, right? But a construction manager is literally the entity in pre-construction and sometimes throughout construction, but in this context in pre-construction, that's helping out with constructability reviews, real-time scheduling, budget updates, and bringing on early design assist trade partners and assisting with the design and helping to get that design ready for construction under the stipulated or within the stipulated sum of basically targeting the right budget, the overall budget for the owner. And so the construction manager is integrated with the owner and the designers, and it's fantastic. Now, once you reach a GMP, a guaranteed maximum price, and you've signed your prime agreement. Maybe, there's different times where you can sign your prime agreement, but basically you have a submitted and approved GMP and you're ready to go and you've received your notice to proceed. Then the construction manager, who is literally there and assist, now assumes the role of general contractor and assumes all of the risk. So the construction manager that is then at risk as the general contractor to build the project. That's the best way to see the CM at risk environment. And what's great about it is the general contractor gets to do the pre-construction planning, and the pre-construction planning, their butt's on the line for executing the project. So you see how that integration can really, really help. So just one more time, CM at risk means that a general contractor is acting as a CM in pre-con, then becomes the general contractor at risk to finish that project for that guaranteed maximum price and on schedule once the design is complete and an NTP, a notice to proceed, has been issued. So those are the two phases. So you have pre-construction and then you have construction. Obviously then your closeout, right? So I have worked in this environment a lot and I love it because when you're the CM in pre-construction, you're helping to guide the design. You're making sure the budget's on track. You're making sure that the schedule is appropriate. You're doing constructability reviews. You're bringing in early design assist trade partners. It gives you more time to plan. And this is why this is so important. This is why I love this method and I hate design bid build, because statistically projects go better when you plan them in pre-construction, and you have to have that time. And the builders who are going to execute the building, or not execute, they're not going to kill the building, but like execute the work for the building, need to be the ones planning it. And design bid build, it's just, here's the design, it's done, it's packaged, there you go bid it, and then you get to make a plan as you go. I hate that. That statistically is why projects don't go well. So being a part of those two phases is key. Let's talk about the guaranteed maximum price. So when you are the construction manager, you are bidding the project, right? And a lot of times as the CM at risk, well, maybe all the time, but anyway, you must get that project to a point where your GMP fits within the overall budget, or you may not be selected. But if you're the CMAR and you get to a point where your guaranteed maximum price, basically your budget for the overall project, meets the stipulated sum for the owner, when you get to that point, then typically you are selected as the general contractor at risk for that project. So that's the ideal scenario. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but most of the time that's what happens. So guaranteed maximum price is a do not exceed amount. And so anything above and beyond that is at the risk of the general contractor, okay? And so that's where the at-risk comes from. So if it's something that should have been assumed, should have been inferred, should have been known from the design intent, then the general contractor is at risk. If it's something new or a new lobby or something, the GC isn't at risk. That's obviously a change order. But we have to hit that guaranteed maximum price, and if we go below, there may, not all the time, but there may be a shared savings clause. Most of the time not. But I will tell you, owners, that if I'm your general contractor and there's not a shared savings clause there, and we're looking good on budget, and I can keep my crane rental legitimately or add 1 or 2 field engineers, I'm going to do it because it's in the budget, because I get the labor gains, I get the equipment gains back on that. So you might think about this when, what you're incentivizing your general contractor to do. But anyway, if you're over, you're at risk. If you're under, there may be a shared savings clause. And giving back the owner some shared savings is good for getting the next project and building relationships, but that's how it works. I already did talk a little bit about risk allocation, but basically the general contractor is at risk for this. And it's in greater amounts than design, bid, build. Remember I said in design, bid, build, you have the design efforts, and then you are obligated, the general contractor is obligated to build what's on the plans. But the difference is, legally, the GC is only obligated to build what's on the plans, and the designers are only required to do what is accurate according to normal industry and location-based standards of care, meaning in their region. And so if there's information missing on the drawings, the GC doesn't pay for it, and the designers don't pay for it, because there's this big spear-in gap. They call it the spear-in gap. And when you're doing CM at risk, and especially in design build, because that was the construction manager as a part of the design, right? The design is better, and the CM at risk should know better, right? And so that spear-in gap really, really narrows, and the owner has to pay for a lot less. And in design builds, that spear-in gap almost goes completely away. So I just want you to make sure that you understand where the risk is. CM at risk, the owner has less. It might be a little bit more expensive, but the general contractor has more because they've been involved throughout the entire process. In a CM at risk contract, the owner has more involvement typically than a design, bid, build. Like design, bid, build, you design it, you bid it out, you select a contractor, and you're like, there, go, right? CM at risk, the owner and the construction manager and the general contractor, who are the same thing, right, are working more collaboratively throughout for a better overall outcome. So there's more involvement from the owner. And one of the last things that I want to mention is that when you are in the CM at risk environment, you're able to do more early procurement, plan the project better, fast track the project possibly, do it in different phases, do early releases. Like, it's just a much better environment from a scheduling and overall duration standpoint. And so here's some of the benefits that I want to talk about real quick. The benefits are you'll have better cost control because the GC is involved sooner, better collaboration throughout, faster delivery, and you'll have expert input throughout the design, and that's amazing. Some drawbacks could be that it's more expensive, right? Another drawback will be that there's less competitive bidding and less flexibility, because once the GMP has been set, you're kind of fixed, and then you're dealing with change orders if you want to change something. So yeah, CM at risk is typically for large commercial projects, but I love it. And one thing that I want to close out with saying is that IPD jobs that aren't ready for the integrated form of agreement, the IFOA fully, can sometimes do what's called IPD light, where you have a design build or CM at risk contract structure or contract delivery method, but you have IPD behaviors. And so it's really, really nice. So I just love CM at risk. I love design build. And I would invite you to look into it even more. I'll reference you to a book called Integrating Project Delivery. I'll reference a couple of other books about CM at risk, which I personally like. And I'll turn this into a little blog post, a little summary for you. But if you ever need help, reach out to us. But we would love for you to like the video, subscribe, and hopefully this elevates your CM at risk game and that you know what you're talking about. And I hope you've loved this video. On we go.